National Electrical Code Section 410.16b addresses the requirements for mounting luminaires to outlet boxes using round mud rings. This section of the code mandates that round mud rings must be used for mounting luminaires to outlet boxes unless the luminaire is specifically listed for use without a mud ring. The primary reason for this requirement is to ensure that luminaires are securely and safely attached to the outlet boxes. This secure attachment is crucial for maintaining the integrity of the electrical connection and preventing potential safety hazards. Round mud rings are designed to provide a stable and robust mounting surface for luminaires, ensuring that the fixture remains firmly in place. The code specifies the use of 8/32 size screws for attaching the luminaire to the mud ring. These screws are chosen for their strength and holding power, which are essential for supporting the weight and preventing the loosening or detachment of the luminaire over time. The use of 6/32 size screws is not recommended because they lack the necessary strength and holding power to adequately secure the luminaire. This can lead to a variety of problems, including the luminaire becoming loose, vibrating, or even detaching completely from the outlet box. Such a situation can create a significant safety hazard, potentially resulting in electrical shock, fire, or physical injury. Therefore, adhering to the NEC requirement of using 8/32 size screws with round mud rings is critical for ensuring electrical safety and preventing accidents. When selecting and installing luminaires, it is important to verify that they are listed for the intended application and that the appropriate mounting hardware is used. If a luminaire is not listed for use without a mud ring, then a round mud ring with 8/32 size screws must be used to comply with the NEC. This requirement applies to all types of luminaires, including those used in residential, commercial, and industrial settings. By following these guidelines, electrical contractors and installers can ensure that luminaires are installed safely and securely, minimizing the risk of electrical hazards and protecting occupants from potential harm. The selection of appropriate screws for mounting electrical fixtures and equipment is a critical aspect of electrical safety. Screws provide the mechanical connection that holds components together, ensuring that they remain securely in place and function as intended. When selecting screws for electrical applications, it is important to consider several factors, including the size, material, and type of screw. The size of the screw is determined by its diameter and length. The diameter is typically expressed as a number, such as 6, 8, or 10, which corresponds to a specific thread size. The length is measured from the head of the screw to the tip. The appropriate size of screw to use will depend on the specific application and the size of the holes in the components being joined. The material of the screw is also an important consideration. Screws are typically made of steel, stainless steel, or brass. Steel screws are the most common type and are suitable for most applications. Stainless steel screws are more resistant to corrosion and are often used in outdoor or damp environments. Brass screws are also corrosion resistant and are often used in decorative applications. The type of screw refers to the shape of the head and the type of drive used to install it. Common types of screws include flathead screws, roundhead screws, panhead screws, and oval head screws. The type of drive refers to the shape of the slot or recess in the head of the screw that is used to turn it. Common types of drives include slotted drives, Phillips drives, and square drives. When selecting screws for electrical applications, it is important to choose screws that are specifically designed for this purpose. Electrical screws are typically made of steel or stainless steel and have a corrosion-resistant finish. They also have a special head design that provides a secure connection and prevents the screw from loosening over time. In addition to selecting the appropriate screws, it is also important to install them correctly. Screws should be tightened to the proper torque to ensure that they are securely in place but not over-tightened, which could damage the components being joined. It is also important to use the correct type of screwdriver or wrench to install the screws. Using the wrong tool can damage the screw head and make it difficult to tighten or loosen the screw. In summary, the selection and installation of screws is a critical aspect of electrical safety. By choosing the appropriate screws and installing them correctly, you can ensure that electrical components are securely connected and function as intended. This helps to prevent electrical hazards and protect people from injury. The National Electrical Code, or NEC, is a comprehensive set of standards that govern the safe installation of electrical wiring and equipment in the United States. It is updated every 3 years by the National Fire Protection Association, or NFPA, and is widely adopted by state and local jurisdictions as the basis for their electrical codes. The NEC covers a wide range of topics including wiring methods, overcurrent protection, grounding, and equipment installation. It provides detailed requirements for the selection and installation of electrical components, ensuring that they are safe and reliable. The NEC is organized into chapters, articles, and sections. Chapters cover broad topics such as wiring methods and equipment. Articles provide more specific requirements for particular types of wiring or equipment. Sections provide detailed instructions for the installation of specific components. The NEC is a complex and technical document, but it is essential for anyone involved in the design, installation, or inspection of electrical systems. It provides the necessary guidance to ensure that electrical work is performed safely and in compliance with applicable regulations. The NEC is not a law itself, but it is often adopted by state and local jurisdictions as the basis for their electrical codes. This means that compliance with the NEC is legally required in many areas. Failure to comply with the NEC can result in fines, penalties, and even criminal charges. The NEC is constantly evolving to keep pace with new technologies and changing safety concerns. The NFPA regularly updates the NEC to incorporate new research, address emerging hazards, and improve the clarity and enforceability of the code. The NEC is an essential resource for electrical professionals, providing the guidance they need to ensure the safe and reliable installation of electrical systems. By following the NEC, electrical contractors, inspectors, and engineers can help to prevent electrical hazards and protect people from injury. The information provided is intended for general guidance and informational purposes only, and does not constitute professional advice. It is essential to consult with a qualified electrical contractor or engineer for specific advice related to your particular situation. Electrical work can be dangerous, and it is important to take all necessary precautions to protect yourself from injury. Always turn off the power before working on electrical circuits or equipment. Use appropriate personal protective equipment, such as gloves and safety glasses. Follow all applicable electrical codes and regulations. If you are not qualified to perform electrical work, hire a licensed electrician. Electrical safety is everyone's responsibility. By taking the necessary precautions, we can help to prevent electrical hazards and protect ourselves and others from injury. The National Electrical Code Section 410.16 paragraph B is very specific with the requirements. To reiterate the point, make sure you use the correct modding for mounting luminaires to outlet boxes, in accordance with the NEC, unless the luminaire is listed for use without one. This means that the luminaire has been tested and approved for installation without a mud ring, and it will be clearly marked as such. If the luminaire is not marked for use without a mud ring, then you must use a round mud ring with 8/32 screws. The reason for this requirement is to ensure that the luminaire is securely mounted to the outlet box. A loose luminaire can be a safety hazard, as it could fall and cause injury or damage. It could also create a fire hazard if the wiring becomes exposed. Round mud rings provide a stable and secure mounting surface for luminaires. They are typically made of metal or plastic and have a raised rim that helps to support the luminaire. The 8/32 screws are used to attach the luminaire to the mud ring. These screws are strong enough to hold the luminaire securely in place, even if it is heavy or subject to vibration. Using the correct size and type of screws is essential for ensuring that the luminaire is properly mounted. If you use screws that are too small or too weak, they may not be able to hold the luminaire securely in place. If you use screws that are too large or too long, they could damage the outlet box or the luminaire. It is also important to use screws that are made of a corrosion-resistant material such as stainless steel or brass. This will prevent the screws from rusting and weakening over time. In addition to following the NEC requirements, it is also important to follow the manufacturer's instructions for mounting luminaires. The manufacturer's instructions will provide specific details about the correct way to mount the luminaire, including the type and size of screws to use. By following the NEC requirements and the manufacturer's instructions, you can ensure that luminaires are mounted safely and securely. This will help to prevent accidents and protect people from injury. Remember, electrical work can be dangerous. If you are not qualified to perform electrical work, hire a licensed electrician. An important distinction needs to be made, and that is about listed versus labeled equipment. The two words are similar, but have a different meaning. The definition of listed equipment means equipment that is included in a list published by an organization that is acceptable to the authority having jurisdiction and concerned with evaluation of products or services, that maintains periodic inspection of production of listed equipment, and whose listing states that the equipment meets appropriate designated standards or has been tested and found suitable for a specified purpose. The definition of labeled equipment means equipment or materials to which has been attached a label, symbol, or other identifying mark of an organization that is acceptable to the authority having jurisdiction and concerned with evaluation of products or services, that maintains periodic inspection of production of labeled equipment, and whose labeling states either that the equipment or material meets appropriate designated standards or has been tested and found suitable for a specified purpose. If you are dealing with luminaires, electrical boxes, fasteners, etc., the authority having jurisdiction is very likely to be the city or county building inspector. Another important item to know is about box fill. The National Electrical Code has rules regarding the maximum number of conductors that can be installed in an electrical box. This is called box fill, and it is covered in NEC section 314.16. The purpose of box fill is to prevent overcrowding of conductors in electrical boxes, which can lead to overheating and electrical hazards. Overcrowding can also make it difficult to work on the wiring in the box, and it can increase the risk of damage to the conductors. The box fill requirements are based on the size of the box and the size and number of conductors installed in the box. The NEC provides tables that specify the maximum number of conductors that can be installed in boxes of various sizes. The box fill requirements also take into account the volume of the box, which is the amount of space inside the box. The volume of the box is typically marked on the box itself. To determine the maximum number of conductors that can be installed in a box, you need to know the size of the box, the size of the conductors, and the number of conductors. You can then consult the NEC tables to determine the maximum number of conductors that are allowed in a box. It is important to note that the box fill requirements apply to all conductors in the box, including both insulated and bare conductors. The box fill requirements also apply to equipment grounding conductors and equipment bonding jumpers. In addition to the box fill requirements, the NEC also has requirements for the spacing of conductors in electrical boxes. These requirements are intended to prevent conductors from coming into contact with each other, which could lead to short circuits and electrical hazards. The spacing requirements vary depending on the voltage of the conductors and the type of box. It is important to follow the box fill and spacing requirements to ensure that electrical boxes are properly installed and that they do not pose a safety hazard. Failure to comply with these requirements can result in fines, penalties, and even criminal charges. Box fill calculations are an important part of electrical installations. It is important to understand the box fill requirements and to follow them carefully to ensure that electrical boxes are properly installed and that they do not pose a safety hazard. If you are not familiar with the box fill requirements, you should consult with a qualified electrical contractor or inspector.